ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Shadow and Sun. Today, we are going to be doing another review. Finally, I guess. That is exactly what we're going to be doing.
Tonight we're going to review one of our favorite games. We are going to be honest where we feel necessary, but the two of us have played this game 20, 30 times, easily, maybe even 40.
Possibly.
Yes, we've played the heck out of this game. It's made by Flying Frog Productions. It's been out for quite a while.
We do have.
We have
another open.
This is a sealed copy. We haven't opened it up because we have.
We're not probably won't.
Probably not. We have another game playing copy that we have of this game. We've got a ton of expansions. We've literally played the heck out of this game. We have taken a little break. We've been working on the channel, doing some other stuff. But for starters, we're going to go over the components, starting with the rule book.
Yes.
And the adventure book. The rule book is great. It's concise. It's got a lot of beautiful artwork in it. A lot of helpful tips on painting and assembling your miniatures. Not a lot of wasted space. Not a lot of repeating itself. There is a nice Q&A section at the back. It's possibly my favorite piece of their artwork. I really love this one. That really tells you everything you need to know. It is a Wild West board game where the heroes invariably end up dealing with menaces and horrors in the H.P. Lovecraft style. Another thing that really attracted us to this game, besides the Western theme. I've always had a bit of a love for the Old West and American history. The adventure book is nice. It gives you 10 pre-made, basically dungeons to go through, along with some other useful information that they didn't want to squeeze into the rule book. The going to town bits, I believe, are in here. The things that happen to you in between adventures, that sort of thing. It's all in all a nice set of two books. I do wish the covers would have been a little bit more sturdy. They're nice glossy paper, but as you can see, even having never used them, they're seeing a little bit of wear just from taking them out of the box a couple of times. Other than that, maybe in the future we'll get a hardback book.
Is that even a thing that exists yet?
No, not yet. I'm hoping it will. Next, we're going to go on to the characters. What we got?
Yes,
Characters?
Yes. The characters are good, but
I love the smell of fresh ink.
I guess.
Here we have your basic 4 characters. They do actually come in male.
Actually, this is.
There you go.
Yeah.
They are available as male or female.
I guess. Okay, I guess I'll start with the Gunslinger. Possibly. Good.
Possibly the most OP character in the game.
Yes, there are some things that you can do that make it, good. I mean, at the beginning, there's nothing too special. I mean, other than the high, where is it? Initiative?
And chance to hit.
Yeah. But it is, I think, the best out of the, at the beginning.
Out of the 4 starting characters?
It can get better. I guess I'll go to the Marshal. I haven't done much with them yet.
Great supporting character.
But he has.
Yes, he's my favorite character in the entire game. Great supporting character. Nice standalone character. If he gets separated from the party, he obviously he can get slaughtered, but he has a really good chance of standing on his own for a while until he can make it back to the rest of the party.
The Bandito, I don't think I've played them yet.
No.
But out of my experience of him using them, they were good. Especially if you go down the dynamite thing.
Yeah,
And
you
pretty good.
stock up your Bandito or Bandita with plenty of dynamite, and he or she can potentially steal the show. Great for boss fights. It's another good character. Now let's go to the not so good. The saloon girl,
or piano player.
if you prefer to play the male version. They honestly, it's my least favorite character in the game.
Have we ever played them though?
Never.
I mean, there is another set, and we don't really have their cards yet, but we do have that set.
We have the Swopes of Death,
Yes, we do.
and we have the other 4 characters, and out of all 8, bottom of the list. Sure, it's supposed to be a hand-to-hand character, but there's...
Have we really played them that much?
We've never played this character.
Oh.
Never.
Oh.
But there's a good reason, because...
Have you seen their stats and stuff?
Yeah, the stigma of being the saloon girl / piano player...
Oh, so what, does he bring his piano with him?
No.
So
I don't even think he comes with a harmonica, which would have been a saving grace had you equipped him with the harmonica. It would have made a big difference.
Yeah, harmonica good.
We actually have a lot of the extra characters from the Kickstarters and the promo characters, and
We also have
like the Doc and the bounty hunter. Not the bounty hunter. Do we have the bounty hunter? Is there a bounty hunter?
I don't think
We have the outlaw. We have the cowboy. We have just about all of the extra characters that
Do
come.
we have everything that exists right now?
No, we're missing, I think, the Blackstone shaman of some sort and one other character. But all in all the characters, with the one exception, really nice. The cards that you keep track of your character are really handy. As they level up, they just get more and more, impressive, to say the least. The wide variety of characters that you can get through the different promos that they had and the Kickstarters. A lot of stuff you can get on eBay really easy. They're also re-releasing a lot of the stuff on their online store, and you can get them elsewhere. There's just a ton of...
We'll talk about that later.
Right. Anything else you want to say about the characters? No? The characters are good. Let's just leave it at that. Let's go on to the floor tiles.
Yes.
Which make up your...
Where are they? They're underneath.
And they're still sealed, unfortunately. But I don't know if you can see. They are rather nice. They're double-sided. One side is the mines.
One sign is
A Hoth-like frost world that's frozen over, that used to be inhabited by some ancient aliens. There are a ton of counters that come along with these. These are just one page, but the counters are really nice. There's a lot of them, and you're going to want to find a really nice.
Bag.
So yeah, we have about 20 bags of counters to keep them organized. If you can come up with something else, that's good. Same thing with the tiles. There are a lot of floor tiles here, and as you pick up expansions or other sets, you'll get lots more tiles. The only downside of the floor tiles is believe it or not, there just doesn't seem to be enough variety. After you've played the mines, maybe 6 times, you're gonna, really want to branch off. Fortunately, this game has a sort of Stargate sort of portal system where you can go to other worlds and explore different environments, and those box sets usually come with floor tiles. The only real bad thing we found is some of the rooms seem rather small when some of the larger miniature models come into play. We'll go into the miniatures.
That doesn't really matter.
But it would be nice to have some floor tiles that are, at least as big as the box to play on, or pieces that you can make into larger rooms. Maybe that'll be something they come up with further on down the road.
Yes, and something else that they're going to be doing. Well, actually, no, I think they already did it.
Was?
As you mentioned before,
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Redesigning most of the miniatures in plastic. That is something I believe they've already done.
Yes,
But
most of them.
I'll talk about the quality of the miniatures.
Originally, a lot of the miniatures, especially in this box, came out as a resin miniature.
Resin not good.
Yeah,
Resin
the detail, especially on the character models, was really poor. The monsters were fine, you know. Working with
Yeah.
resin,
It didn't one time. It actually didn't one just melt because of the heat?
Yes, one.
Were you using like a?
No, I was just holding it in my hand, working on it, trying to do some filing off molding lines, and the miniature started to bend in my hand, kind of like the old spoon bending trick. I'm just holding it, and filing it, and then it just sort of folds over. We had to reverse the process.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Was it because what melted it?
Well, I think it was a combination of the fact that we had 100-degree weather and that the heat of my hand was literally holding it and melting it.
Yeah, so basically that just means that resin very, very bad.
Yes, it's also not good for
But
you.
plastic is much better.
Yes, all of the plastic miniatures we've picked up since then we've loved. The detail is nice. It's not Games Workshop nice, but it's still very, very nice.
And yeah, good. As he mentioned before, the monsters are good, but I mean that's not the hardest thing to do. But I mean it is definitely something you could mess up, and you can definitely there's a lot of replayability in it.
The main box, yeah, you definitely with the monsters you get.
Even with just one box, there's a bunch of missions, and let's say you're doing it by yourself, you might only have 2 characters, or maybe you only have 1 character. I would not recommend it.
Yeah, the solo mission with 1 character is asking for really
For death.
Yeah.
For no longer living.
There's the main big bad guy, the Goliath, I think he is.
Yeah, Swamps of Death has Harbinger.
And there's
Smaller things.
There's these
Spiders.
void spiders and some stranglers, which are kind of a pain to put together, but now in the newer releases they're a 1-piece miniature instead of a 3 or 4-piece miniature.
Cool.
There's these cool tentacle things that just sprout out of the ground, very Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
All of the monsters except the zombies that are very Lovecraftian. The Night Stalkers, one of my favorites. He's a nice, creepy monster, kind of a toughie.
Also, something I'll mention. Both of the sets have pretty much they have 4 characters. Like both of the main core sets, I guess.
Right.
They have a bunch. I'm not sure how many, but they have a bunch of really weak monsters. I think 6.
6 or maybe even 12.
6. Oh yeah, 12. They have 12 of the really
I'm not
weak monsters.
100% on that.
12 or 6.
Right. There's
In this case, it's the void spiders. In Swamps of Death, it's the zombies, which eventually can get very difficult to kill. But let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about our terrible experience with those. Till possibly when we review the other set. But then they go to a bigger thing, which I'm not sure what it is for Swamps of Death.
the stranglers, then the tentacles, then
They all have tentacles, but then the stranglers. I don't know what it is for Swamps of Death. I will no longer talk about that.
I think it's the bats.
I think there's 4. It depends. I think there's 4 or 6 of the stranglers in this case. Then you have 3 Night Stalkers, and then you have 1 big Goliath thing.
All of the monsters have these neat cards to keep track of their hit points and their abilities, which can get pretty nasty.
They can also there's also some special things. There's also these are things from the special thing. It's also a harder difficulty,
where you can bump your monsters up to the insane levels of difficulty we've yet to be able to defeat.
Brutal spiders. I mean, zombies are not good.
Oh God.
Let's not talk about that either.
Yeah. Let's move on to.
But continuing on the fact that there's a lot of replayability, when you get even once you start getting other sets, there's even more, and you can technically even make your own entire thing. We were actually one time working on an entire before we started the channel. In fact, I think it was last year. we started this project where we created an entirely new world, entire new characters, well, we didn't make new monsters yet, but we were working on doing that, and the process of creating a character, like an entirely new character, is actually kind of hard because you need to do a bunch of stuff.
But they do come there, or there is available a sheet of a pad of like paper that has blank monster cards on them, so that you can literally create your own monsters and fill in the blanks and all the special abilities.
You can also search up like the cards, and you can find like cards that were made in Photoshop.
Yeah, there's a lot of homemade
And one of
support
those,
for this game.
I actually kind of like the design of one of them. In fact, I actually made multiple of them with cooking clay.
The
something
female
called-
or Sculpty?
Yeah. It's called a Whirling Madness. It's kind of cool.
Yes, there's a lot of homemade support for the game.
And speaking of cards that you can modify,
There are decks
there are cards that you can modify,
and
and they're
decks.
pretty good.
There are a ton of cards. These are just the 3 decks of cards for the various things you'll need in the game in just the box set. They're probably probably about 500 cards, and they're not all the same. They're not for the same purposes. There are a ton of different things. There's equipment cards, treasure cards, monster cards, so that you can randomly determine what monster you encounter. Sometimes there's tactic cards that tell you what they can do or will do or explain a tactic. There's just a ton of cards.
There's so much that you might not be able to actually store it all.
You will definitely need to,
Put them in a place.
yeah, you'll definitely need an organization system. You'll want protective card sleeves of one sort or another.
Yeah, this game also does have a really good way of seeing how much stuff you have with the tokens or whatever you want to call them. It also has a pretty good way to see what kind of stuff you have, like items, like gear and artifacts. We actually had a binder with like each character card in them, and then all the stuff they had.
9
pretty
pocket
good-
card sheets.
Yeah, a pretty good way to store the cards. But
Tell
yeah,
me about the monster cards.
oh,
No, remember how we had the different colors?
what are the different colors?
You remember the card sheets? Remember the
Oh yeah. We did actually get, like, for example, we would get different colored card sheets. Like, for example,
gear?
no, wasn't there one called like loot?
Oh yeah, but you can't see it because it's still wrapped. Like when you find treasure, you'll make up a deck of treasure cards,
And you will put for example, the ones that have like gold coins on them. You put those in a gold sheet for if the.
so you can determine what deck is what, because once you put them in the like card sleeves that have the backs on them, you won't know what card it is. So you color coordinate them. We had gold for the treasure cards, different colored cards for the monsters because they have different rarity. Sometimes you'll need to pick blue monsters or red monsters or yellow monsters.
There's green, which is easy, which is something we didn't know. It was for 1 to 2 people. If you have 3 to 4 people or characters, not players, you'd get the
More-
medium ones, which are yellow, and then hard ones is 5 to 6.
Yeah. So
Because
the
those
more,
are apparently those
so,
are.
so the
I
stronger
think
your party
you should
is,
probably be able. I feel like you can probably have more, but more than that.
I think there's a limit of 8, 6 or 8.
Well, yeah, but I
And
mean.
then you fighting epic monsters the entire time. As soon as you walk in the door, there's
Oh
a
yeah,
Goliath.
there's also blue, but those are meant for like the very, very end.
Yes.
And technically, if you have every single character, you could technically, but let's not talk about things like that yet. We're gonna be talking more about this game in future videos, possibly.
So that's it for the cards. Yes, there are dice. Your basic 6s, a ton of those. You get to roll a lot of dice. There is a special peril die, which is only 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, which is nice because I always make you roll 1s and 2s over, right?
Not always.
when we're playing D&D. And a regular D8. You're good to go right out of the box. You got everything you need. As soon as you put your minis together, you paint them up, you're ready to go. A lot of nice bases.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the cards.
After you pick up the main box, then you really start running into trouble because there are dozens of expansion box sets, whether it's a single monster and a new floor tile to make up its lair, to full campaign boxes. The expansions just run the gamut of everything you could possibly want. There's even a large beastie that might as well be Cthulhu. We have shown him off in one of our Dungeons and Lasers video, the ancient one.
Oh yeah.
He's just a phenomenal Cthulhu clone miniature.
With a sword.
With a sword. You give Cthulhu a sword. There's nothing he can't do except defeat our party. Did we fight him?
No, I never did.
That's right, we didn't. What am I saying? We fought the Harbinger and the Goliath.
We would have died.
Yeah, we probably would have died. But there are a lot of big monsters that are really rather epic. There's a lot of little new monsters that, believe it or not, are pretty terrifying. The Void Hive monsters, those things were just a nightmare.
The Void Swarm?
Yeah, the Void Swarms were awful.
Were they worse than the zombies?
No, yes.
They were. I think they're actually almost the same.
Yeah, they just keep coming. You know, nonstop monsters coming out of these hives, the same as the rats. Those were.
Well, the rats aren't as bad.
Yeah, you're right. They're not as bad. But there are a ton of expansions. There's almost too many for a normal gamer to deal with. So you can pick and choose what you really, really want. We have actually gone a little hog wild. We have probably more than half of everything that's ever been made.
We have shown off a lot of stuff in some of our videos. For example, when we made the starship, there were some things from it.
You excuse yourself.
Oh, you heard that?
Yeah, we heard that.
Oh.
Yeah. You can't go video without a little...
Anyways, back to the expansions. There are a lot of them, and most of them are pretty good. Actually, I don't think there's anyone that are specifically bad. In fact, some expansions have expansions.
That's actually true. I think the only thing we didn't like was the Void Swarm. That really threw us for a loop.
That wasn't because we didn't like how they looked and stuff. That was just because they were awful.
There was non-stop, and they're tough.
But the miniatures look pretty cool.
So take a look online, see the expansions that grab you. There are plenty for everything. There's werewolves, there's vampires, there's secret cults, there's undead aplenty. And now on to our final, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good.
Cool reference.
Speaking of the good, the bad, and the ugly, our chewer has got to sneak into the video. Don't lick the table. Oh my goodness.
Well,
yes. You want to go hit the good?
You do that.
Okay, the good. It's too good. The game is a money pit. You'll never feel like you have everything because they keep putting stuff out.
Like crack.
The stuff is literally that good. It's addicting. There's a ton of great stuff. We had to take a break because we were playing it quite a bit, and I really need to catch up on painting. The bad. It is like Kingdom Death Monster, probably too expensive for most people.
Again, like crack.
The base game is, when I got it, was under $100, but I actually got this box right here I got for less than $45. The first one I got for retail price, which is about $80. Now it's up to a little over 110, I think, because they redid the miniatures and they're now plastic and they're a little bit bigger and they're better. You know, the sculpts are better and the designing was better. If you and a buddy want to splitsies this game, that's a great way to start because it is a great game. We absolutely love it, but unless you won the lottery, it's a very, very expensive game.
Especially with all the expansions.
Now to the ugly. This game is normally first released through Kickstarters, And while I didn't buy in on the first Kickstarter,
Or the second.
right, I did manage to purchase everything from the first, and almost everything from the first Kickstarter, and most of the stuff from the second Kickstarter.
Yeah, he bought a package that was just the entire.
Kickstarter box, yes.
Yeah.
And the third Kickstarter, we did almost the same thing. We got one of the lower pledges, but you're better
we
off.
got the best pledge.
No, we didn't. We didn't. No, there's still some stuff we don't have for the Forbidden Fortress. The reputation for Kickstarter response time and production time and customer service is one of the worst out of the top 10 or the top worst. It's like the third worst. Robotech, of course, being the worst Kickstarter of all time.
Siege of the Citadel maybe being second.
Yeah, you're right. Siege of the Citadel is definitely letting everybody down. It should have been out years ago. I realize that what's gone on this last year.
Definitely makes things a bit more difficult.
However, they were able to retool all the miniatures from the base sets and do a lot of other stuff when they should have focused on getting the Kickstarter backers what they paid for in a timely fashion. In my estimation, it's over a year late. We should have had our pledge manager last December. Here it is a year later, and still no word from them. They ignore the Kickstarter comments page and do everything on Facebook and other social medias.
Which isn't the best thing.
Right. If you're going to do a Kickstarter, your Kickstarter fans are going to be on Kickstarter. That's why they backed your product. And ignoring the Kickstarter comments page is just poor form, in my opinion.
Yeah, it actually it's kind of also like a crack dealer.
Yeah, when you got the money, he can't be found. It's a great game, and if you really want it, you can go through their online store, and they will treat you right. You can do yourself one better, go on eBay and find some products that somebody, realizes they're done with, and pick it up used, or pick it up from someone who has extra overstock or something like that, and get yourself a deal, because it'll always be better than buying from them directly, because they will rarely give you a good deal. They charge full retail price on everything. Occasionally they'll put something on sale, but more than likely, even if you go to Miniature Market, you'll get a better deal, and that's the ugly part. But aside from that, we really love this game. We can't wait to play it again. But I really got to get to painting some miniatures before we do that. We do have 3 weeks of vacation starting.
Well, technically 2. Well, we're in the first week.
Yeah, we still have, we're on the second day of vacation technically. So hopefully, if you guys like this game and you want to see us do reviews of the other expansions or the Swamps of Death or the Forbidden Fortress, give us a link, comment in the comment section. We'll be more than happy to make videos. Actually, we're going to do them anyways, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. We hope even more you enjoy this game. Despite the little bit of bad, there's a ton of good. It's a beautiful game in every aspect. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys play it. If you do, send us some pictures of your painted miniatures. We'd love to see that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And like I said before, have a great week and Merry Christmas. See you tonight, Cowpoke.
Remember, yes.
Good night.
Yes, good night, everyone. This has been the Shadow and Sun Show. And everybody, remember that this game is a lot like crack.
Good night, everybody.